Welcome to part 10 of Expansion and Empire. We're going to wrap this up now by just taking a look at a continental empire. Everything we've discussed up to this point has established a continental United States that should look pretty familiar to you. We've trimmed off the borders on the north. We've established Oregon Territory. We've created the Mexican Secession. Matter of fact, the only chunk of land left that we haven't discussed is that little strip down there that makes up the southern border of Arizona and the panhandle of New Mexico. In 1853, we'll take care of that. It'll be known as the Gadsden Purchase. Incredibly, Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna has become president of Mexico yet again, and he'll sell the Macias Strip there to the United States. And his own party will be so offended by him doing it that they'll actually force him out of office, and once again he goes back into exile. He's kind of a bad penny of Mexico. But that, by 1853, will finally establish what looks like the continental United States today. But as you can see by looking at this map, the issue of slavery is going to be the dominant issue from here going forward. And with any U.S. survey class like this, it is going to be the thing primarily you're going to talk about, because you're going to talk about slavery itself and slavery and how it ramps up to the Civil War. And it all begins with taking a look with this final continental map. William Seward will capture this sentiment in 1858 as a senator from the state of New York. Now, he's going to go on to be the Secretary of State for President Abraham Lincoln, right? But he'll say in what becomes known as the irrepressible conflict speech on the floor of the Senate in 1858, he'll say, it is an irrepressible conflict between opposing and enduring forces, and it means that the United States must and will sooner or later become either entirely a slave-holding nation or entirely a free labor nation, right? Every time we have this more territory added, the question's asked, can we have more slavery there? And more as we move forward here, the answer to that question becomes harder and harder and harder. So with manifest destiny realized, at least on the American continent, a second destiny now awaits, less apparent but no less real than the first, and that is to confirm the permanence of the American nation and empire. And this destiny is ultimately going to cost over 600,000 lives, right? The question needs to be asked, are we going to be an entirely slave nation? Or are we going to be an entirely free nation? Because it's going to become very clear that we cannot remain both. Or perhaps we might become two separate nations. We're going to figure this all out in what ultimately becomes known as the American Civil War.